Good. Sorry about that. Look, you asked me about the electric vehicle credit, and this is basically what I call the Tesla subsidy. And the subsidy is unbelievably extravagant. The government is now paying people $7,500 cash back. It's like a rebate paid for by the taxpayer to buy a Tesla or some of these other electric vehicles. There's the Chevy Volt and so on. And this was supposed to expire by the end of this year, and now, of course, there's nothing that's temporary in Washington. They want to extend this program. And by the way, you could, with state credits, you can get up to $10,000 of taxpayer money to buy one of these cars. Now, look, I don't have anything against electric cars. I think they're fine. I think if people want to buy them, that's certainly their prerogative. But I don't think the taxpayer should pay you $10,000 to buy a car.
$10 billion is one of our boomers. It's one of our Trident submarines. It's the fleet that we need, the reality of American defense. $10 billion for Teslas? And God love Tesla. You can go get a Tesla if you want. I don't want to pay for your Tesla, and a tax credit is a dollar for dollar. It's just like free money to rich people.
Well, that's right. And now in this new bill, they want to actually extend the credit to buying a used Tesla. So think about this, you can buy a Tesla, get a $7,500 credit, then you can resell the same car. Yes, and the person who buys it gets $2,500. You keep doing that, and it's basically the taxpayer is paying for virtually the whole cost of the car. Look, we should get rid of all these credits and have a level playing field and let people buy the kind of cars that they want to buy. By the way, don't forget that when you buy a Tesla, you're not buying gasoline at the pump, right? And the gasoline tax is what pays for our roads. So think about this, Hugh. The electric vehicles don't pay for the roads, but they use them.
Yeah, John Campbell, who's a dear friend of mine, was a member of Congress. I think when he comes on the after show today, he loves all these tricked up electric vehicles. When you just brought it to my attention, you get $7,500 leaving the lot, and you get $7,500 coming back onto the lot to sell the car. So we're giving him $15,000 for his Tesla or whatever it is he bought. I think it's astonishing that anyone would vote for this, Stephen Moore.
Well, I'll tell you one guy who's fighting for this, and that his name is Elon Musk.
Yes.
He loves this credit. Incidentally, I also looked at the demographics of who's buying these cars. This is maybe the most outrageous thing of all, Hugh. The average income, let me put this differently, 90% of the people who buy these cars have incomes over $100,000. So this is a rich man subsidy. It's not like we're subsidizing poor people to buy cars. We're subsidizing rich people to buy cars. And here's another one. What state are you in, Hugh?
I'm in Virginia.
Oh, Virginia, okay. Because two states account for well over half of all the subsidy. And those two states are, number one, California, where almost 40% of the money goes, and then New York is the second. So it's, we're rich liberals buy their cars. And why are taxpayers in the other 48 states, subsidizing the
Stephen Moore,
in San Francisco and Manhattan?
You may remember you and I teamed up for one of those debates that NPR does with Governor Gray Davis and Michael Lynn, and we were in California.
I was thinking about that this morning.
Yeah, and the proposition was the future is better in a red state over a blue state. And you and I creamed them. Poor Gray Davis haven't been heard of since then, and I just batted cleanup. They were all dead and finished when I got up, and you had taken them apart. But you know what?
Do you remember who one of the people we debated in that was Gray Davis, the former California governor?
Yeah, he was in parts like C-3PO at the end of the Return of the Jedi. So my point is, maybe this is an attempt to get people to stay in California, because the electric vehicle credit, half of them are being bought in California. It makes no sense. But I'm curious about this. As an economist, we took away the tax deduction for people's mortgage interest on which they had relied when they bought their homes. Nobody has relied on this. There's no reliance damage in ending this. I do not believe there is one argument for this. Now, put on you're a good academic. What possible reason is there for an electric vehicle tax credit of this size?
Well, the left would argue that this is, to reduce climate change, and basically what they want to eventually do is force everybody to buy an electric car, and they want to get rid of the combustible engine and use electric vehicles. Look, people. Here's one interesting thing about electric cars. For all the chatter about how these are taking over the world, only a small percentage of the cars on the road are electric vehicles today. They really haven't caught on, even with these gigantic subsidies. So, the government's trying to force feed people into buying these electrical vehicles. But one reason people aren't buying them, Hugh, even with these giant subsidies, can be for $7,500 or $10,000. Those electric vehicles are still really expensive, even with the subsidies.
Yeah, and people don't want to go out of their way to find the charging station. Look, if the market wants electric vehicles, Stephen Moore, what will the market do?
Well, you'll see the infrastructure being built out.
Yep.
The industry wants now the government to subsidize the charging stations as well. I mean, they want to subsidize every aspect of having these cars. I'm in love with I like the old-fashioned, fuel vehicles. But as you said, this should be the choice of every single person. By the way, we don't know what the future holds. It might be natural gas. I've written a lot on energy, as you know. We are a super abundance of natural gas in this country. Natural gas, I call it the wonder fuel. It's cheap. It's abundant. It's made in America. It's reliable, and it's clean burning. It's everything you want. By the way, the environmentalists are against natural gas. I never could understand that.
Well, they're against nuclear power, too. That makes not a lick of sense either.
Well,
Nothing makes a lick of sense, and $7,500 for an electric car really doesn't. Stephen Moore, always a pleasure to have you on. AmericanEnergyAlliance.org. They sponsor the show. They sponsored that segment. They sponsor Common Sense on this. Go and read about it at AmericanEnergyAlliance.org.